Ugh. Guys, you won't frappin' believe this. Martin Murder is being dragged on shitter, and it's just so upsetting to me because I'm very familiar with Martin's other work and have only heard good things about his character. Alright, for those of you who don't know, some months ago the Piss Play Award for Excellence in Gaming was given to none other than hero, saint, and genius designer Martin Murder, whose contributions to the industry have been as impactful and show-stopping as the atomic bomb. And yet, even though this should be a joyous occasion for celebration, some haters who do not make games are dogpiling on this poor, brave, courageous man simply because he works at the Murder Factory. I mean, honestly. First of all, Martin doesn't even like the Murder Factory. He works there for his job because he needs money to live. He doesn't actually want to work at the Murder Factory. And if you go to his shitter profile, you'll see plenty of shits where he criticizes the Murder Factory for committing so many murders all the time. And I know there's some woke skull smartasses out there who think that murder is bad and that you shouldn't kill people to make a profit, but those people are just toxic trolls who are insecure about their own miserable, pacifistic lives and are jumping on the opportunity to drag someone down to their low level. These people don't know Martin. They haven't played all the games he's made, and they've certainly never spoken to him. Martin has been so nice and supportive to me, and he has had such a wonderful, positive, nuclear impact on the gaming space. Plus, if these dumb idiots knew anything about Martin, they'd know that he talks about working at the Murder Factory all the time. Martin has been working at the Murder Factory for the better part of the last 15 years, and he's never shied away from that. He never hid the fact that he works at the Murder Factory. He's proud of it. But now that he's getting an award for something unrelated, people are upset? I call that hypocrisy. Why is this an issue only now? Is it because people had no idea who he was and all this publicity led to his work being approached with a greater amount of scrutiny? I mean, yeah, but look, he doesn't even murder the people. That's actually a gross and slanderous misrepresentation of his job. Martin Murder only plans about how the people will be murdered at the Murder Factory. He doesn't actually pull the trigger, but people on Shitter are assholes, and they've been calling him all sorts of horrible names, like murderer, homicidal bastard, war criminal, fascist pig, imperialist dog, murderer. All these people are apparently illiterate because they can't read his profile bio that clearly says, "Hi, I'm Martin Murder, and I work as a murder strategist at the Murder Factory." That's right, strategist. You got that? Strategist. He doesn't murder, he strategizes about murder. And he hates the Murder Factory. That's why he's been working there for over 15 years. He wants to make it better from the inside, which is exactly what he's been doing to the gaming space for all these years, while he's been planning murder on the side. Look, most of the haters don't bother to learn anything past superficial details about Martin Murder. But if you actually shit at the guy, you'll find that he's changing the landscape for the better. During his long murder career, Martin has sought to uplift the voices of the marginalized and the diverse by paying them to help him tell his stories. Making a game requires so many artists, designers, copy editors, designers, writers, etc., but Martin always makes sure to hire vast, diverse workers who are crews of diverse creators that are uplifted through his saintly hiring practices.
Basically, this dude is 100% like just a nice guy in general, very professional, handles his shit, hires on a vast crew of diverse people from all kinds of backgrounds onto all of his projects, okay? This dude is basically as clean as a fucking whistle as it gets.
He has taken people who were not white, not straight, not male, and maybe even not American, and told them, you can work for me. The fact that this is noteworthy and not the status quo should probably tell you all you need to know about this industry, which Martin is fixing. These varied, diverse artists and designers are so diversely skilled. Surely it's okay to plan a little murder sometimes if you get to create a few jobs on the side, right? Like, let's say for every one 5e supplement you make, you can kill 10,000 people. After all, Martin has a career and a family to think about, and these people would have him throw all that away just because they're feeling a little sanctimonious? Well, I say keep working the factory, Martin. A job's a job, and we all gotta make a living somehow, am I right? Am I right? You know, if you think about it, if you really think about it, Martin is doing the world a whole lot of good doing what he does. Because if you think about it, without him, the gaming space would have less diversity. His collaborators alone practically account for 99% of all indigenous talent in the entire world. By shouting him down and harassing him the way these trolls are, they are actively endangering the future of diversity within this community. These dumb, stupid, idiot, stupid, dumb assholes are claiming to be progressives when they're actually just bullies who want to bully someone for being an honest, hardworking murder strategist / game designer. These people don't care about actual progress. They're just toxic animals who go after the scent of blood. Because if you think about it, if you really, really think about it, having a murder strategist who maybe, perhaps has some tepid reservations about murder, working the murder factory is the best way to make sure that the murder factory commits less murder. Maybe. I mean, who are we kidding here, guys? We've all stepped on an ant, or had meat, or forgot to recycle, or accidentally stood on someone's foot on the bus. We've all owned clothes, We've all read at least one book written by a racist, or had at least one bad thought. Let he who is without stone cast the first sin, as Cain and Abel used to say. Netflix's The Good Place taught us that there is no ethical consumption under capitalism, which means that every bad action is just as bad as any other bad action, which means that everyone is equally bad all the time. After all, Martin Murder is so nice to me, and no matter what you do to a person or an entire country, so long as you're sort of nice and polite afterwards, it's all good.
This dude is basically as clean as a fucking whistle as it gets.
We all like Henry Kissinger, right? He's a fun little guy. It's a fun little guy. Did war crimes. Anyway, let's change the subject. These dumb Redditors are awful bootlickers, and they're siding with the worst gaming corporation in the world. Why would people defend such an awful entity? Ugh.